We have 6 shots. Certainly that was demonstrated an intent to kill. And whether it's termed lack of remorse or coldness, as Mr. Fisher pointed out, I listened to those phone calls and I realized that there were over 1,000, perhaps 1,500 phone calls to your family and friends, and I suspect most of those conversations had nothing to do with this case. You're talking about family, talking about life. But for someone to make a comment, and I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit, obviously, like I only killed one person, like maybe 5 years. That demonstrates a coldness, and also comments that, you know, what's the point of sending me to prison for a long time? The deceased is gone. Why make me suffer? And then you're complaining that Mr. McGee cooperated with the investigation because he's your friend. This was a homicide. If we're at the state in our society where friends don't do the right thing and say, this is what I saw on a homicide case because loyalties to friendship trump basic morality, then our society is in a seriously bad situation. You seem to be advocating that McGee, why'd you talk to the cops? We were tight. And this is how he's doing me. You don't seem to recognize the gravity of your actions. The court will stay within the guidelines because the court does not believe that a sentence outside of the guidelines would be justified. By the same token, this court has to justify the sentence that it is going to impose within the guidelines. And the reasons that I have just articulated, the fact that for no apparent reason, you put 6 shots into this guy at point blank range. And it's like, what's the big deal? Maybe I'll get 5 years of this. Why should I suffer? Boy, that's horrific attitude, and that deserves a maximum sentence. Because he sentenced of this court on the felony firearm charge that you served 24 months in the Michigan Department of Corrections. You have credit against that time of 507 days. That is consecutive to and preceding the murder charge, for which you will be turned over to the MDOC for a minimum of 270 months and a maximum of 900 months consecutive. That is the maximum penalty that the court can impose within the guidelines. I've articulated that this is justified within the guidelines. Restitution of $15,923.80 that is subject to a restitution hearing if that is requested. This is a final sentence. You have appealed by right to the Michigan Court of Appeals. You can fill out that application and return it within 42 days. Fill out the paperwork that you've been given. That is all. Sympathies to the family. Thank you. And frankly, sympathies to your family as well, because 2 families have been torn apart by your actions. That is all.